is shaping up to be one of the most unpredictable, high-stakes, and drama-filled years in recent memory. And at the center of it all stands Lewis Hamilton and Ferrari. The hype surrounding the SF25, the massive expectations placed on Hamilton, and the intense internal dynamics between him and Charles Leclerc have created a powder keg just waiting to explode. This isn't just another season. This is Ferrari's last, best chance to reclaim its former glory, and the stakes couldn't be higher. For Ferrari, the SF25 is more than just a car. It's a symbol of their desperation to end years of disappointment and finally bring a championship back to Maranello. Reports suggest that the SF25 could be up to a second faster than its predecessor, the SF24, a claim that, if true, would put Ferrari in the title fight from the very first race. But as we all know, Ferrari has a long history of over-promising and under-delivering, making it impossible to take such claims at face value. Could this car finally be the one that brings Ferrari back to the top? Or is this just another case of pre-season optimism that will inevitably collapse under the weight of reality? For Hamilton, the transition from Mercedes to Ferrari is more than just a career move. It's a chance to redefine his legacy. If he can win an 8th world championship with Ferrari, it would not only cement his status as the greatest driver in F1 history but also deliver one of the sport's most iconic moments. However, nothing is guaranteed in F1, and his path to that elusive 8th title is fraught with obstacles, not the least of which is his own teammate. Charles Leclerc is not just another teammate, he is Ferrari's golden boy, the driver the team has invested years into developing and grooming to be their future world champion. He has been with the team through its highs and lows and has earned the admiration of Ferrari's passionate tifosi. Now, with Hamilton entering the picture, Leclerc finds himself in an awkward position, forced to prove that he can go toe-to-toe with one of the greatest drivers of all time while simultaneously maintaining a positive relationship within the team. If Ferrari isn't careful in managing their two superstar drivers, this dynamic could quickly spiral out of control, leading to a level of internal chaos that could derail their entire championship campaign. And let's not forget the competition. While Ferrari is making headlines for its aggressive moves, McLaren has been quietly preparing for another shot at dominance. The Woking-based team ended 2024 on a high note, stealing the Constructors' Championship away from Ferrari in the final races of the season. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have proven to be a formidable duo, and with reports that McLaren is already developing its 2025 car with 2026 regulations in mind, they could have a head start on the rest of the grid. If Ferrari gets caught up in its internal drama, McLaren will be more than happy to take advantage of the situation and extend its reign at the top. Then there's Red Bull. The reigning champions may have stumbled towards the end of 2024, but they are still a force to be reckoned with. Max Verstappen remains as ruthless as ever, and while internal struggles within the team have made headlines, Red Bull has always found a way to bounce back stronger. The biggest question mark surrounding them is how much of an impact the FIA's new regulations on front-wing flexibility will have on their performance. If Red Bull's aero package is compromised, they could find themselves playing catch-up for the first time in years. But if history has taught us anything, it's that Adrian Newey and the Red Bull engineering team always find a way to stay ahead of the curve. Mercedes, meanwhile, is the ultimate wild card. The team's decline in recent years has been well documented, but with their newfound flexibility in development following Hamilton's departure, could they stage a surprise comeback? The internal restructuring at Mercedes suggests that they are gearing up for something big, and while it's unlikely they will be immediate title contenders in 2025, they could still be a major thorn in the side of Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull. As for Hamilton, his recent testing crash in Barcelona has added even more intrigue to an already dramatic storyline. While Ferrari has downplayed the significance of the incident, the reality is that every lost lap is a missed opportunity to fine-tune his understanding of the car. Adapting to Ferrari's unique characteristics will be a challenge for Hamilton, and given how limited testing time is in modern F1, he cannot afford to fall behind. The upcoming tyre test with Pirelli in Barcelona will be crucial, giving him another chance to log miles in Ferrari machinery before pre-season testing in Bahrain. But make no mistake, if Ferrari wants to maximize its chances of success, Hamilton needs to be fully up to speed from day one. The internal politics at Ferrari will also play a massive role in determining how this season unfolds. Team principal Fred Vasseur has made it clear that there will be no designated number one driver, at least, not initially. Both Hamilton and Leclerc will start the season on equal footing, but as we've seen in the past, this policy rarely lasts long. If one driver starts consistently outperforming the other, Ferrari will have no choice but to throw its full support behind them. This means that the early races will be absolutely critical. If Hamilton wants to ensure that Ferrari backs him, he must establish himself as the clear leader of the team as soon as possible. If he doesn't, he risks being relegated to a supporting role, a position he will undoubtedly refuse to accept. Looking ahead, the first few races of the season will set the tone for the entire year. The Australian Grand Prix will be the first true test of the SF25's capabilities, giving us a glimpse of whether Ferrari's pre-season optimism was justified or just another case of wishful thinking. If the car is genuinely as fast as the reports suggest, then Ferrari could find itself in a title fight for the first time in over a decade. But if early reliability issues or performance inconsistencies arise, the pressure will mount quickly, and Ferrari's long history of overreacting to setbacks could come into play. Beyond that, the upcoming European rounds will be pivotal. Races like Imola, Barcelona, and Monaco will reveal just how well Ferrari has optimized its car for different track characteristics. These circuits demand a balance of aerodynamic efficiency and mechanical grip, two areas where Ferrari has struggled in the past. If the SF25 can perform consistently across various track types, it will be a strong indication that Ferrari is genuinely in the hunt for the championship. And then there's the wildcard factor: Mercedes and Red Bull's potential mid-season development gains. F1 is a sport of continuous evolution, and while Ferrari may have an early advantage, that advantage can disappear overnight if their rivals unlock new performance upgrades. Red Bull, in particular, has a track record of introducing major updates that transform their car's competitiveness mid-season. If Ferrari wants to avoid another heartbreak, they must ensure that their development pipeline remains strong throughout the year. At the heart of it all is Lewis Hamilton, the man who has rewritten the history books time and time again. His move to Ferrari is a gamble, but it's also a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If he can deliver Ferrari a championship, it will be the ultimate validation of his legacy. But if things go wrong, if the car isn't up to par, if the internal politics become a distraction, if McLaren and Red Bull prove too strong, then this move could end up being a frustrating final chapter in an otherwise legendary career. The 2025 Formula One season is not just another year in the sport's history. It is shaping up to be one of the most intense, unpredictable, and high-stakes campaigns we have seen in years. At the center of it all stands Lewis Hamilton and his daring move to Ferrari, a transfer that has the potential to either redefine his legacy or leave him with one of the biggest disappointments of his career. The stakes for Ferrari, McLaren, Red Bull, and even Mercedes could not be higher. And as we edge closer to the first race in Australia, the tension is reaching a boiling point. Ferrari's bold claims about the SF25 being a second faster than its predecessor have fueled speculation and excitement, but skepticism is warranted. The team has a history of hyping up its pre-season potential, only to underdeliver when it matters most. However, if Ferrari's engineers have truly unlocked a second per lap of pace, then they could be in a position to challenge for both the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships for the first time in well over a decade. The advancements in aerodynamics, power unit efficiency, and suspension design suggest that Ferrari has taken a revolutionary approach to this car rather than an evolutionary one. But whether those gains translate into actual dominance on the track remains the million-dollar question. For Hamilton, this is more than just a fresh start. It is an opportunity to achieve something that even his biggest critics would have to acknowledge as the pinnacle of his career. Winning with Mercedes was historic, but winning with Ferrari would be legendary. However, this challenge comes with immense pressure. Ferrari is not a team known for patience or stability. They demand immediate results, and the expectations surrounding Hamilton's arrival are astronomical. His initial tests have shown promise, but the early accident in Barcelona was a stark reminder that adjusting to Ferrari's machinery will take time. The real concern is whether he will be given that time or whether Ferrari's notorious internal politics will turn against him if he doesn't deliver instantly. And that leads us to Charles Leclerc, the man who has been Ferrari's golden boy for years. His battle with Hamilton will be one of the defining narratives of 2025. While they have been all smiles in pre-season, history tells us that intra-team rivalries at Ferrari rarely end well. Leclerc has spent years trying to bring Ferrari back to the top, only for the team to bring in one of the greatest drivers in history as his teammate. While he insists he is up for the challenge, the reality is that their competition could become a major distraction for Ferrari. If the team does not establish clear leadership early in the season, it risked descending into chaos, much like the infamous Alonso-Massa or Vettel-Leclerc power struggles of the past. Meanwhile, Ferrari's biggest rival, McLaren, is entering 2025 with sky-high confidence. Having secured the Constructors' Championship in 2024, they have positioned themselves as the team to beat. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri have proven to be an elite driver pairing, and their car development strategy, allegedly incorporating aspects of the 2026 regulations, could give them a crucial advantage. Andrea STELLA's recent comments make it clear, McLaren does not fear Ferrari, nor do they see Hamilton's arrival as a threat. If anything, they see it as extra motivation to push even harder. Red Bull, the dominant force of the previous era, now finds itself in unfamiliar territory. The FIA's crackdown on flexible front wings has thrown their 2025 development into question, and their struggles in the latter half of 2024 suggest that their dominance is no longer guaranteed. Max Verstappen remains the most dangerous driver on the grid, but if Red Bull cannot maintain its technical edge, he could find himself fighting an uphill battle. Internal tensions within the team, combined with the looming 2026 regulation changes, make this a critical year for Red Bull. If they fall behind early, Verstappen's future with the team could become a major talking point. And then there's Mercedes, the ultimate wildcard. With Hamilton gone, they have a chance to redefine themselves. While their 2024 campaign was largely disappointing, the internal restructuring and renewed focus on long-term development suggest that they are not ready to fade into obscurity. Whether they can be competitive in 2025 is still unknown, but if they can get their act together, they could play the role of disruptors in what is shaping up to be a three-way battle between Ferrari, McLaren, and Red Bull. The early races of the season will be crucial in setting the tone. If Ferrari's SF25 is truly as fast as they claim, they must capitalize immediately. Any setbacks, reliability issues, or strategic blunders could allow McLaren or Red Bull to gain an advantage, and Ferrari cannot afford to play catch-up. For Hamilton, the opening rounds will determine his status within the team. If he can outperform Leclerc from the start, Ferrari will have no choice but to rally behind him. But if Leclerc starts the season stronger, then Hamilton could find himself in the unthinkable position of playing second fiddle in a team that he joined to cement his legacy. Beyond the team battles, the looming 2026 regulations cast a massive shadow over 2025. This season will not only be about winning in the present, but also about laying the groundwork for the future. Teams like McLaren and Mercedes are rumored to be focusing significant resources on ensuring they have the best possible platform for the upcoming rule changes. Ferrari must decide how to balance their short-term championship aspirations with long-term competitiveness. A miscalculation here could be costly, as a failure to prepare adequately for 2026 could see them once again fall into years of underperformance. In the midst of all this uncertainty, one thing is clear. The 2025 season is going to be an all-out war. The rivalries, the stakes, and the shifting power dynamics make this a season that could redefine the landscape of Formula One. For Hamilton, the dream of winning with Ferrari is alive, but the road to glory is treacherous. McLaren is stronger than ever, Red Bull is fighting to maintain its dominance, and even Mercedes is lurking, waiting for an opportunity to strike. If Ferrari is not careful, they could find themselves repeating past mistakes and watching another title slip away. For fans, this is the kind of season we live for. The unpredictable nature of the championship, the sheer talent on display, and the possibility of historic moments make this an era-defining battle. Hamilton's move to Ferrari was a catalyst for a seismic shift in F1, and now we are about to see how it all plays out. Will he rise to the challenge and deliver Ferrari's long-awaited championship? Or will the internal chaos and fierce competition from McLaren and Red Bull prove too much? One thing is for sure, the 2025 Formula One season is set to be an absolute rollercoaster, and we are all lucky to have front-row seats to witness history in the making.